The rain hammered against the corrugated iron roof of warehouse number 7, each drop a frantic drum beat against Harding's frayed nerves. Sal Demarco was sweating, the flickering gaslight casting grotesque shadows on his pinched face. He kept darting glances at the two hulking figures flanking him, their faces impassive, their hands resting casually on the butts of their pistols. "Look, I told you everything I know," Demarco whimpered, his voice barely audible above the rain. "Blackwood gave me the assignment. Monroe was dealing in textiles, importing fabric from overseas. Routine stuff. He was supposed to secure a shipment. That's all I know." Harding leaned forward, the pain in his busted rib a sharp reminder of his recent encounter with Blackwood's men. "Routine doesn't involve disappearing, Demarco, and it certainly doesn't involve two guys like you two looking like you're expecting a visit from the Reaper." The larger of the two flanking Demarco cracked his knuckles, a silent threat. Harding ignored it. "He's seen worse. What about the Egyptian connection? The pottery fragment?" Demarco's eyes widened. "I don't know anything about that." He wrung his hands, a gesture that spoke volumes about his discomfort. "Blackwood got real touchy when I asked about Monroe's trips. Said it was sensitive." Harding knew sensitive translated to dangerous in Blackwood's vocabulary. "He's wading into a swamp thicker than he initially thought. He said Monroe was looking for something in Egypt." "Yeah, I heard something about that," one of the goons grunted, his voice a low rumble. "Sunstone, they called it. Some kind of legend." The Sunstone. Lila Monroe had mentioned it. A cryptic reference that now seemed to be a thread pulling him deeper into the labyrinth of this case. And Blackwood, what's his stake in all this? Demarco swallowed hard. He likes things. Antiquities. Rare artifacts. He's got a whole collection at Crestwood. Monroe was supposed to acquire something for him. Something valuable. Harding felt a surge of frustration. Blackwood, antiquities, Egypt, the Sunstone. The pieces were swirling around him, refusing to coalesce into a coherent picture. "And Lila?" he asked, his voice low. "Where does she fit in?" Demarco visibly flinched. "Don't mention her name. She's off limits." "Off limits to who?" "Blackwood." Harding pressed, ignoring the threat in Demarco's tone. "To everyone," Demarco mumbled. "She knows too much. Blackwood warned me. He said she's dangerous." The rain intensified, drumming a frantic rhythm against the warehouse roof. Harding stood, ignoring the jolt of pain that shot through his ribcage. "I've got one more question," he said, his voice hard. "Tell me about the hieroglyphic locket." Demarco's face drained of color. He opened his mouth to speak, then abruptly clamped it shut, glancing nervously at the two men beside him. One of them subtly tightened his grip on his pistol. Suddenly, the warehouse door creaked open, casting a blinding beam of light across the room. A familiar figure stepped inside, silhouetted against the light. "Mr. Harding." Lila Monroe's voice was soft, almost melodic, but Harding knew better than to mistake it for gentleness. "I believe you have everything you need." Harding turned to face her, his gaze unwavering. "You know more than you're telling me, Lila." She smiled, a knowing, almost pitying expression on her face. "Perhaps, but some secrets are better left buried, Mr. Harding, especially when they concern people far more powerful than you." She paused, her eyes scanning the room, lingering on Demarco and the two grooms. "Edward Blackwood sends his regards. He advises you to reconsider your inquiries. Egypt is a long way, and some stones are best left undisturbed." She turned and walked back into the rain, disappearing as quickly as she had appeared. Harding watched her go, feeling a growing sense of unease settle over him. He turned back to Demarco. "You were going to tell me about the locket," he said, his voice low and insistent. Demarco hesitated, his eyes barking between Harding and the retreating figure of Lila Monroe. I can," he stammered. "They'll kill me." Harding knew he was right. "He's been pushed as far as he could push this man." He sighed, the rain seeming to mock his frustration. "Then you're no help to me." He turned and walked out of the warehouse, the rain plastering his hair to his forehead. Back in his office, Harding stared at the hieroglyphic locket on his desk. Lila had given it to him a week ago, a seemingly innocuous gift. Now he realized it was a piece of the puzzle, a key to unlocking the truth. He examined the locket closely, tracing the intricate carvings with his fingertip. The symbols were ancient, unfamiliar, yet they resonated with a strange familiarity. He recognized a few depictions of the sun, a serpent, a scar beetle. He pulled out his notes, cross-referencing the symbols with his research on Egyptian mythology. The pieces were slowly coming together, forming a disturbing picture of greed, betrayal, and a quest for something far more valuable than gold or jewels. He knew he was onto something big, something dangerous. Something that had already cost Arthur Monroe his freedom, and possibly his life. A knock at the door startled him. It was his landlady, Mrs. Periwinkle, a perpetually worried woman with a fondness for gossip. "Mr. Harding," she said, her voice trembling, "there's a man waiting for you downstairs. Says he's a representative from an archaeological society. From Egypt." Harding felt a chill run down his spine. Egypt. He's been expecting this. He knew this was the point of no return. He straightened his coat, ignoring the pain in his ribcage, and headed for the door. He descended the stairs and found himself facing a tall, distinguished-looking man in a tailored suit. The man held out a card. "Professor Mahmoud Aziz," he said, his voice formal. "I'm here to offer you assistance. Your inquiries have not gone unnoticed. We believe you may be of use to us in a delicate matter." Harding took the card, his gaze unwavering. "What kind of assistance?" "The Sunstone," Professor Aziz said, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and urgency. "It's more than just a legend, Mr. Harding. It's a key to something lost, something powerful, and someone is trying to exploit it for their own gain. We need your help to find it, before it's too late." Harding looked out at the rain-soaked streets of the city, the neon lights reflecting in the puddles. He knew he was stepping into a world of shadows and secrets, a world far beyond the familiar confines of his office and his investigations. He looked back at Professor Aziz, a grim determination hardening his gaze. "Tell me everything," he said. "I'm going to Egypt."